Hey guys, I felt like making a video instead of just typing a bunch of stuff, and I've got stuff to work on, so I'm making a shooting glove for archery. So I got these finger guards cut and molded last night, and they're looking pretty good, but this one needs a little work, so I'm gonna see if I can't get that working a little better. The leather's way too stiff, so as you can see, these are a little bit better looking. But anyway, yeah. Something that kind of irks me a little bit is when people just kind of don't have a whole lot of perspective on, just kind of how the current state of media relates to how media always has been. I'm probably going to link it in the text below, but there was that post about why somebody hates Marvel movies, and this isn't going to be some like long-winded defense of Marvel movies, because I don't care if somebody likes them or not. Like, I personally do. I can definitely understand why somebody wouldn't like them, though. Like, I have heard tons of very good reasons why people don't like them. Oh. There we go. Don't want to miss all this amazing wax rubbing action. This actually softens it. But anyway, like there's a lot of really good reasons not to like them. And I totally agree with a lot of the points that the person made. First and foremost, the fact that you basically have to watch all of these freaking movies to know what the fuck is going on. That's kind of a lot for a lot of people, you know, especially when they become such popular movies. And I don't really agree with the argument that, well, nobody knew that they were going to be this huge cultural phenomenon. Bullshit. Disney knew that they were going to. Come on. It's Disney. They know what they're doing. Most of the time. Disney does make flops, but they knew what they were doing. Like, you just, like, watch Iron Man and tell me that they had no idea that it was going to blow up. Like, yeah, they knew. But anyway, there's a lot with that post that I just really kind of can't really stand by, though. Not because I'm just like, I don't like your opinion, but because it's just kind of not true. And I kind of feel like it warrants a little bit of discussion. And I kind of don't want to dig into that person's post and in more of a personal way. Like, I don't want to get in the notes, and I don't want to make them feel like I'm confronting them and all this shit, you know, because that gets me in trouble. So, you know. So anyway, point is, I'm going to do it here. So, number one, there's this idea that these movies are somehow like a new phenomenon. I would say that the only new thing that they're really doing is the amount of them and the depth to which they're going. And I would say that the only reason that they're managing to do that, warming this stuff up helps. The only reason that they're able to do that is because they have how many decades of comics behind them to draw from? Like, the comics are not complete canon for these movies, obviously. I mean, we have yet to see Captain America as a werewolf. I'm still very upset about that. Come on, guys. When's it going to happen? When are we going to see Cap Wolf? That's seriously what they call him. They call him Cap Wolf. I I can't get over that. I will not get over it, and I will not let it go. Also, if you know Jubilee from the old X-Men animated series, you know, the one with the bitchin' awesome theme song? Yeah, she turns into a vampire. Anyway. So, yeah. So this whole thing of, like, them somehow being, like, this enormous, sprawling storyline. Not really the newest thing. Keep in mind, before Iron Man came out, like, and I would say that Iron Man is disputably, like, the first of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know if that's, like, the official thing. I don't know if, like, any of the Hulk movies count, for instance. But, God, they made so many of those. They tried that so many times. God, I really have to rub this stuff in here. God damn it. But it seems like it's the first. Anyway, but before that, like, we had the Harry Potter series. And that was still, like, no, you gotta watch all of them. No, you can't just pick it up halfway through. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna know who that is. You're not gonna know what's going on. You're not gonna know why they're doing this. And even then, it was also, like, that had the whole problem of they started making the movies before the books were done. They didn't know what was going to be important. And then it was like Dobby was barely important in the earlier movies, and then later he gets this dramatic death scene, and because he was important and nobody knew it when they were making the movies. Oh God, what a mess. But yeah, so that was great. Sorry about clearing my throat, by the way. It's just a medical thing. Anyway, so long-running series, we had fucking Harry Potter. Before that, it was Star Wars. I'm trying to think before that, like, I would say, like, the OG, like, way back was serials like Flash Gordon and monster movies. Like, I think Dracula was serialized to some extent. Swamp Thing. Oh God, so many B movies. So many B movies were just like that. But yeah, so these, like, sprawling franchises are nothing new. Bourne movies. Oh my God. My God, it's Jason Bourne again in theaters. Why? With terrible fight scenes. Where it's just like, what the fuck is going on? You know. I'm so glad that trend died out. It's so bad. They were just like, hey, maybe we should just let the stunt guys who want to be directors just direct the fight scenes. Oh, it turns out they're really good at it. Maybe we should just let them do it. And then they did, and then it got us a lot better fight scenes. Wow. It's really surprising. Yeah, so... so sprawling franchises, not really a new thing. Kind of weird to give that to Disney and Marvel. One of the overarching problems with the people who have these kind of problems with with MCU movies is that they're kind of playing into what Disney wants people to think, you know? It's kind of a weird issue. Because on the one hand, they're just like, I hate these movies. I hate what they've done to the film industry. You know, all this stuff. And interestingly enough, like, Disney's kind of backed off from movies in a big way because they've got streaming. You know, they're doing a lot more with series. A lot of really cool stuff with series. Like, Loki is fantastic. And so it's really odd to see the criticism that they're giving these movies because a lot of it is like this stuff of just parroting what Disney has said about their own series. You know, these people who claim to hold such a negative view of them are really just kind of repeating what Disney has said about their own series. So it's like, you know, guys, you're kind of playing into it a little bit. Like, I understand completely. Like, this was me toward Transformers, which is another one. Like, God, we had the 3 first Transformers, one of which, you know, like, I don't know, did the third one go to space? God, I could not get through that one. I tried to get through it because I was just sort of like, I don't know, I'll just watch it, whatever. Maybe it'll be better. And I could have sworn that I knew which act it was in. I was just sort of like, okay, so we've had, so we've gotten through the first act, because, like, I hadn't looked at the playhead yet. I was like, we've gotten through the first act, I'm sure. And we must be getting close to the end of the second act, because we've just found a solution to the problem, and now it seems like we're going to be able to solve it, you know, like, in terms of, like, the current plot line in the story. And so now we're going to try to solve this problem, and it's not going to work, so then we're going to have to find another solution. And there's also going to be a fight between these two characters. Like, that's just typical second act stuff. And so then I looked down at the playhead. It wasn't even near halfway. I was just like, I'm so done. I can't do it. So I couldn't get through the third one. And then, like, they had, like, the one with the dinosaurs in it, and they had the one with, like, the fucking King Arthur in it, and oh God, like, like, say whatever you want about Marvel movies. They make goddamn sense. They make goddamn sense. They have a decent structure to them, and they are coherent, fine movies. They're fine. Like, they don't have to be these marvels of cinema. Get it? They don't have to be, like, the next fucking Criterion Collection. And honestly, like, anybody who claims that they are, like, fucking punch them. They're not. They're just not. Because, like, they're fucking comic book movies. That's fine. Like, all they have to be is entertaining, you know? Like, I know that there's people who, like, write these big think pieces about how important they are and stuff, and I'm essentially kind of doing that. But honestly, at the end of the day, they're popcorn movies and they exist to sell merchandise. Like, that is why they exist, you know? That is the why they exist. That is the why and that is the how of their existence. And honestly, that's okay. Like, that's how we got Jurassic Park also. And people, like, bring that up all the time of, like, oh my god, look how good the CG still looks in this movie. Oh my god, the effects are still so good. And it's just like, yeah, they're very good effects. Like, the CG actually isn't very good. Like, nobody shows the T-Rex in that last scene because it doesn't look very good. They show it in the rain all the time because that's the model that they built. But, you know, in the rain it looks great. In the building, not so much. That's the CG. And there's also a frame in which a raptor just disappears. So, I don't know. It's just a caching error. It happens. It probably happened like right at the end where they were like, we gotta get it going. We gotta get this shipped. And they were just like, a raptor disappeared. Oh my god, a raptor disappeared. And they were just like, fucking alarm went off. Anyway, it's like a raptor disappeared. Oh my god, fuck it, it's one frame. Who cares? Ship it. Fucking Spielberg is breathing down our necks. We gotta go. But yeah, so it's fine. Anyway, it's okay for movies to not be these important and incredible dramas of the human condition. Like, honestly, we need some movies that aren't, okay? Life is kind of dire, all right? If that's what you want to watch, there are a lot of movies that are like that. Like, maybe don't look at mainstream movies all the time, you know? Like, there's a lot of movies that are like that. Have you watched Come and See? It's a delightful time. It's actually not. If you have a really hard time with kind of rough scenes of people being mistreated, don't watch it. Anyway, back to happier things. Marvel movies. So there was also this point brought up of saying that it's harder to get new projects off the ground. No, it's not. Have you seen what Netflix is doing? Like, have you seen all the new shit that, like even Disney alone is doing all this new stuff. Like, for one thing, even all the side projects that even just the MCU has spawned off, the new shit that never would have been tried if not for the fact that they were like, oh, that's nuts. Wow, Black Panther did really well in theaters. Holy shit, wow. That's crazy. You know, like, this is the kind of stuff that, it's like, artists know that there's people out here, like, out in the world who want to see this stuff. Artists know that. But the bean counters don't, okay? The bean counters don't know this shit. And until they see a graph that says that people want to see it, they aren't going to sign off on it. But the problem is that there aren't any bean counters who are going to sign off on it because it doesn't exist yet. Therefore, there are never going to be any graphs of it. And so, basically, this kind of plays into the whole diversity thing also. I want to tell you about this game, like this video game. This is adjacent to movies because video games and movies are kind of bumping up a lot into each other these days. There was this video game called Remember Me. And I don't know how well it reviewed. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think people generally thought it was pretty okay. It was just kind of one of those, like, not huge, like, not like a huge success sort of games, but fine, you know? Like, it didn't get like a sequel, as far as I know, but it was like, did okay. But Remember Me had one big problem in the eyes of producers. Remember Me had a female protagonist. And this isn't a problem by, like, my opinion. This is a problem by producers' opinions. Because they were like, that's not gonna sell. Because, like, the point of it wasn't that, you know, she's hot, you know. The point of it was that you play as her and, like, she a lady, you know. Should I wax the rest of that? Decisions. So Remember Me had to be shopped around quite a bit to various studios to see who would be willing to publish this game. You know? Well, various publishers, anyway. I get that shit mixed up. I'm making a mess. And that was, like, the main point of contention, according to the people who wanted to make this game. Like, they would pitch this game, and invariably, they would be asked, okay, it sounds like a good concept. We think that we can work with it, but can we change the gender of the main character? And it's like, why? Why do we need to do that? We wrote this character to be a woman, and, like, we already have this script written, and we would have to rewrite a lot of the script. Like, you know, it's not because, like, too many cigars. It's not because, like, the script was all about, like, you know, it wasn't like her fucking vagina monologues or anything like that. It's just, you know, they would have to be, like, change, like, his, like, her to his, and she to him, and, you know, like, all this stuff would just have to be shifted around, and, like, they'd have to come up with, like, a new character design and all this stuff, you know. And it was just a really frustrating kind of experience for these guys. And it's just like, why? Why is that even a thing? Why is that a fucking thing? You know? And so the whole thing of it was that it's like, with video games, you can have a female protagonist if she's sexy. Like, and, like, there was nothing unattractive about this protagonist. Like, to use the fucking incel number scale, like, she was a fucking 10. Like, it was this fucking sci-fi setting, so she was, like, wearing a bodysuit. She had makeup on, she had a nice haircut. Who cares, right? Like, it doesn't matter. But no, like, she wasn't Lara Croft, and she wasn't, you know, like, she didn't have her cleavage out and all this shit, so it was just like, no, can't do it. Eventually they found somebody who would take it, and they got it published, and it did fine, and nobody was mad that she didn't have her titties out, so so basically, the thing that I'm getting at here is that like I said, I get why people are, like, people have these frustrations with the MCU, but what this kind of does is it's like it started out with like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, you know, white dude, white dude, white dude, you know. And then later it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Black Widow, you know, like, and it's just kind of like getting further away from like just these really strict norms. And it's like, yeah, baby steps, obviously. But it's like, holy shit, Black Panther actually happened. And the reason for that is because you have this comic book based narrative. And so what you can do is you can be like, yeah, so we've got the script for the new movie here. So what's going to happen is these characters are, so these established characters that we've got, they're going to meet this other really, really popular character, really popular one, you know, and the bean counters are just sort of like, oh my god, who is it? Oh my gosh, oh. And they say, okay, he's this guy named Black Panther, you know, very mysterious, really cool. Also, very cheap costume. Don't worry about it, you know. I'm not saying he looks cheap. I'm saying that that's what they tell them. And so they're like, oh, okay, Black Panther, you know. And they say, no, see, he's not the main character. He's in the movie for a little bit. You know, he's not the main character. You know, this is just like a test run. This is just a test run. It's just a test run. You know, we just see how people react to him. And if he's really popular, you know, then maybe he can feature in some other stuff. You know, but it's just a test run. You know. And so then he features in it a little bit, and he does some really cool stuff. You know, and then he's not there for the whole time, you know. He's not the main character. It's just a side character, you know. And like they kind of work the guys who, you know, the guys who are keeping the money under lock and key into this idea that maybe it'll be okay, you know. And, you know, maybe they don't even need to convince them very much. Maybe it's just sort of like, oh, okay, it's a side character. It'll be fine, you know. And then it's like, oh, the response was really good. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. And then people are saying, well, where's his movie? Where's his movie? Oh, shit, you know. So that person was complaining that, you know, that it was stifling diversity somehow. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because this is showing that, like, you can have a heroic black hero who doesn't have anything to do with being a cop, for God's sakes, and who doesn't have anything to do with overcoming being in the hood, and doesn't have to be a sports star or be a fucking musician or, like, he's not a trope, you know? Like, God, what a fucking breath of fresh air. Like, oh my God. It's just... So the whole thing of complaining about diversity, I don't really get that. And it's funny because in that movie, it's honestly really blatant. I don't know if I made this one right, honestly. It's honestly really blatant because the villain is all of those things, Like, he's this guy who was separated from, his, fantasy, sci-fi Africa, homeland, and grew up in, black guy villain stereotype America. Oh, low battery. And he ends up getting defeated by not stereotype man, which I honestly think is really fucking cool. I didn't get this one wet. Shit. That's why it's so weird. I got it wet on this side. I use water to mold this stuff. So this side didn't get any water on it. This side did. That's why it's so weird. Okay. I probably need to remake it though anyway. So I might just reuse this piece. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, so honestly, just really, really kind of strange criticisms as far as I can tell. Basically, Marvel movies are nothing new. Even before, even between the Harry Potter movies, between the Star Wars movies, we had, this deluge of fucking musicals being made into Hollywood movies. And a lot of them sucked. And it was basically just why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? These aren't very good. Sweeney Todd was okay. A lot of them weren't very good. The whole thing of movies as events is nothing new. The hype machine is nothing new. That's how movies have been for a long time. That's how movies in olden times were advertised. That's how the roadshow system worked. That was another thing with old movie musicals. And that's actually how those first collapsed, because they made this huge deal out of all of them. And eventually people got sick of it because the quality didn't keep up. So they were just like, fuck it, we're not staying with this. This isn't worth it. It was almost like the video game crash, honestly. Had a lot in common with it. And honestly, I feel like I kind of feel like I feel like the MCU kind of petered out at just the right time, and I think that was planned. It was like, okay, Endgame, that's where we're gonna stop it before we have any kind of crash or where we jump the shark or anything like that. So it's like, don't worry, I think they kind of knew. So they've got Disney Plus, they're doing series there. It's fine. So, whatever. Either way. And we don't need these huge bombastic CGI things to have a good movie. Nobody thinks that. There's so many people who are on the same side as you who think, ugh, CGI, ugh, it's ruining movies. And honestly, there's a lot of CGI in movies that you think don't have any. There's a lot. You don't even notice it. So. And there's a lot of things that you think are real that are CGI. Like the movie Parasite has a lot of visual effects in it. So honestly, a lot of times it just makes movies affordable to make. So maybe you don't hate VFX so much. It's not all evil. Anyway. Just watch movies that you like. Who cares? Doesn't seem like bad advice to me.